Pick up that.
All right.
No.
So we are gonna continue with measurement, where we're gonna look at circles. Um, some of you will have knowledge about a circle, but you may forget about it. So we're gonna go through it, where we're gonna look at area of a circle, circumference of a circle. We're gonna look at segment of a circle, the sector of a circle, and so on. All right. So anybody can remind me how we find circumference of a circle? What's the formula to find circumference of a circle? Can't remember?
ID, miss.
Pi d r
2 pi r.
or 2 pi r. All right, yeah, that's absolutely correct. Very good. What if we have to find area of a circle?
Pi r square.
Pi r square, or, so we have pi d or 2 pi r square for circumference. Good. To find, and you know that circumference is also the perimeter when you're finding perimeter of a circle, right? Good. Now, R means what? We're just gonna refresh this. What does R means? What does D means? Let me hear from you guys. Are you guys hearing me? What does R
Yeah,
mean?
miss.
What does R mean?
Yes, yes.
Radius.
R means radius. Yes, R means radius. D means what?
And D is diameter. Diameter.
Good. And we know that 2 radii give us a diameter. And pi is equal to what?
22/7.
22 upon 7, or
3.14.
3.14. So if pi is not given to you, you would have to find pi. All right. You will have to decide, sorry, which one to use. All right. If the radius is not given to you, you will have to know which formula to use. So let's say they give you the diameter and ask you to calculate the circumference. Instead of you go to find the radius, you simply use pi d. If they give you the diameter and ask you to find the area of the circle, you would need to find the radius, and you should know half of the diameter is the radius. All right. Now, note that whenever this 3.14, you will see sometimes it says 3.142. It's the same thing. Remember, if you divide 22 upon 7, you'll see you get a recurring decimal, meaning there's no end. It will keep going on and on. Now, what is the sector of a circle? Anybody? What is the sector of the circle? No one can remember what's the sector of a circle?
It's a part of the circle.
It's a part of the circle. When you say part of the circle, what do you mean?
Miss, they got 2 radii.
2 radii. Good. Now, if you think about a pizza, where remember pizza, the slices are divided up. One slice of that pizza is basically the sector. All right. This one portion pizza is basically divided up into sectors. All right. Each slice is considered a sector. If you take one piece out of that pizza, the one piece that you take out is called the minor sector. All right. It's called the minor sector, and the remaining of that pizza we'll call the major sector. Are we good there? I'm trying to get a diagram up here, but I'm not getting it to draw properly. But just picture a pizza, because I know all of you normally would go buy pizza. Think about it. When you take one slice of that pizza out, that is called that's a sector. All right. And that sector that you take out from the pizza is the minor sector, and the remaining is the major sector. Now, if I ask you about the semicircle, what can you tell me about the semicircle?
Half of a circle.
Half of a circle. Good. Now, do you know how to find the area of a sector of a circle?
There's something I do with 360 or somewhere. Pi r square.
The area of the circle times the degrees inside the sector over 360.
Excellent. That's correct. It's basically the area of the circle times the given degree of the sector upon 360. Why 360? Any idea? Anybody have any idea why we using 360?
As a circle is 360 degrees.
Great. That's correct. It's equal to 360 degrees. All right. So this will be pi r square. All right. And then this will be, let's say, we insert the equation here, symbol. Pi upon 360. So find the area of the sector of a circle. It will equal to the area of the circle multiplied by the angle that is given to you, or theta, upon 360. If I ask you to find the length of the arc, now before I go ask you to find the length of the arc, what is the arc of a circle?
Piece of the circumference.
Piece of the circumference. Now, the same slice of pizza I was talking about just now, if you take that slice out, the part at the top there, that's semicircle part, not semicircle, a little circular piece at the top there, that is called the arc of a pizza. The round part at the top, that will call the arc. So if you're asked to calculate the length of the arc, or you want to know what is the length of that arc there, how do you think we calculate it? Anybody know?
Miss 2 pi r, 2 pi r, then the degree they give you over 360.
That's correct. 2 pi r, and 2 pi r is basically what? The circumference, all right? It's basically the circumference of the circle times the degree, all right, of the sector of the angle upon 360. So when you have to find the length, remember that's basically telling you about perimeter. And we use 2 pi r because 2 pi r is the entire circle. And then we put the degree that is given upon 360. So you will need to memorize these formulas, know when to use it. Area, you're using the area, if you have to find the sector of the circle, you're using the area of this given circle, or what you already find. Angle that is given, or the sector angle that is, this is your sector angle in degrees. That is to find the area of the sector circle. For the length of the arc, you use the circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r, or it can be pi d as well, upon the the degree upon 360. All right? Now, what can you tell me about the chord? What do you know about the chord of the circle? What is the chord in a circle? Anybody know about the chord of the circle?
Drawn and is connected to the circumference, two ends of the circumference.
Correct. But all right. And you also should know that the diameter is considered as a chord, right? Even though it passes through the circle in the center or divides the circle in two halves, it's also considered a chord. All right. So copy those formulas for me, and then we're gonna work an example. Let me know when you're finished copying. All right.
Yeah, miss.
All right. Are you guys finished?
Yeah, miss.
All right. So I have an example. It says a circle with center O. All right. You know the center where it's O. Has and the radius is 3.5 centimeters. The PQ is a chord of the circle of length 2.7 centimeters, and the angle POQ equal 45 degrees. So here they ask you to calculate the area of the circle. So we're going to work that first part here. And we already know that area of a circle is equal to pi d or 2 pi r. In this case here, sorry, I mixed up circumference there with area of a circle equal pi r squared. So here, all you need to simply do is to plug in your values that are given and just find what is necessary. So area, you always put your formula is equal to pi r square. So they didn't tell you what to use pi as. So you can use pi as 22 upon 7 or 3.14. In this case, I'll advise you to use 3.14 because the radius is already in decimal. So it will be better for you to use that. So you'll have 3.14 times 3.5 times 3.5. Note all this is in centimeters and it must be square because you're finding the area. So when you calculate that, multiply 3.14 times 3.5 times 3.5. What do we get?
38.465.
All right, so we get 38.465 centimeters square. And we can put this to one decimal place. So if you put it to one decimal place, this is equal to what?
38.5.
38.5 centimeters square. Are we clear there, everybody?
Yeah, miss.
All right. Good. So the second part asks us for the minor sector of the area of the minor sector of that circle. So we already know what is our formula. Somebody remind me what is the formula for a minor sector? Anybody? What is the formula?
Pi r square. 45 degrees over 360.
Good. So it's basically the area of the circle. Area of the circle. Which we already found. So here you don't have to go calculate back they give us the by the way they give us the what is the degree, which is 45. We do not need to calculate back the area because we already found the area. So this will be 38.5 times the degree, which is 45. So this will be 45 upon 360. All right. And when we calculate that, what do we get?
4.808.
So we end up with
4.8125.
125. Remember this area as well, so it'll be centimeters square. But we all, since we already put our answer to one decimal place, we do the same thing here. So to one decimal place, what will be your answer here?
4.8.
4.8. Are we clear so far? Anybody has any problem? They want me to slow down? I'm going too fast. All right, I'll take that silence meaning yes. Okay. Now the third part is asking you for the area of the triangle POQ. So how do we find the area of that circle? Sorry, the area of that triangle. So I'll have to draw a diagram so you can understand. So let me just get it up.
Miss, there may have isosceles triangle or
In this case here, you will it will be yes, isosceles triangle. That's correct. Good. So you will have the thing about this here. You'll have to that in order to find the area of this triangle here, once it's not a right angle triangle, what do we do?
semi-perimeter.
That's correct. So they give us if you remember if you picture the diagram. I didn't draw the diagram there for you, but if you picture the diagram, they tell us that, let me go back up to the question, that the radius is 3.15. And if you take the sector of the circle, if you take a minor sector of the circle, you will see that it shapes like a triangle. So that is what they're asking us to calculate. Hence, we already know that the radius, so let me make a note of that. Let me go here. The radius is given as 3.5. So radius is equal to 3.5 centimeters. So if here is 3.5, then here is also 3.5. So here we'll need to find this part here. But if you read that question, it says that PQ is the chord of the circle. So this part here is the chord of the circle, because when you have your circle, this part here will be a chord. Then you'll have a little piece on here. Let me see if I can get that in. Okay. So it will look something like this. This might won't be too accurate, but at least you get the idea. So this is supposed to come to the front. So this part here, this is a slice of a pizza. This part here is your arc, and they're asking you to calculate this part here. So I can change the color. So the part here in black, that's what they're asking us to find. We have this here is given as 3.5. Here is 3.5. Then when we go over here, this will also be 3.5. And this portion here,
It's 2.7.
that's correct. This part here is given as 2.7. So if you read back, it's giving you that the length, this length here is equal to 2.7. Good. Centimeters. So here you have to find the semi-perimeter, and we did that last week, did we? Or the week before? To find semi-perimeter, how do we go about finding? S is equal to what? Let me hear from you. How do we find semi-perimeter? Anybody? We did this before.
A plus B plus C divided by 2.
That's correct. A plus B plus C, and this is all divided by 2. So any one can be A, any one can be B, any one can be C. All right? So it doesn't matter which one is A, B, and C. Your choice. You can decide. Anyways, we have 10 minutes more here. Please remember to log back in when the time goes out. All right?